this exercise we'll be considering the USPSA scoring system, which means we're going to be shooting really aggressively, and what we're looking for in matches especially is A's and close C's. You know, up at close range, I'd like to see all A's. At distance, we start letting them slip into the C zone. Why? Because it's kind of counterproductive for the scoring system to sit there and insist on all A's all the time when the targets are at distance, or they're tight, or they're risky, or whatever. That's just not productive because of the way the scoring system's set up. We need to be emphasizing shooting quickly. So anyway, I'll make a demonstration for you here. As you can see, I'm going to draw the gun, same rules as before, get a grip I'm happy with, all of that. Put the sight in the center, and then when I fire, I'm going to fire 2 shots, okay? Let everything reset, 2 shots again, reset it, 2 shots. I'm doing 4 pairs for a total of 8 shots. You can do more or less if you want. That's not really the point of this. What we're trying to do, again, is master that grip. So, first thing to point out here is when you're shooting at this is the practical pace you see people shooting a match, right? They aim the gun at the center of the target at this distance, then they rip 2 shots as fast as they can pull the trigger. Yeah? That's fair? All right, so the first thing that's weird about this is we call this predictive shooting, as opposed to what we were doing previously is reactive shooting. So previously we're reacting to each sight picture. Now, based on, we're gonna be shooting quicker, so based on training experience, we have to predict how the gun's going to behave. Now, this is the case because there's not a human being on the planet that's brain works at this speed where they can, you know, it's going like pop pop. They can see that second shot, the second sight picture come back down, then consciously make a decision to fire the shot. That's not real life. That's not a thing. All right. When you're shooting this fast, it's based on training experience. You have to understand how the gun's going to behave and what you can get away with because you're shooting faster than you can react. Does that make sense? All right, now the strange thing for this, for a lot of people to understand, is like, this doesn't mean you aim the gun at the target you want to shoot, then kind of like close your eyes and fire a pair of shots. That's not what you should be doing. Want 2 eyes open, looking at that spot on the target, and paying attention to how the gun's behaving. Because that's going to help you learn how to make the gun behave the way you want it to. And what I mean is, if I see my sight go like this, up, down over here, up, down over there, what's that telling me? It's going,
you're pushing the gun.
Yeah, I'm doing this. If I'm shooting, the shooter goes like that, or she goes up, down like that, then wobbles, it's like, oh, my hand's super tense, and I'm diving the gun down, okay? And so on. Your sights are going to tell you the story about what you're doing, okay? The thing that you want is for your sights to behave very predictably and very consistently. So depending on the gun and you, how all of it's set up, your sights may go up and down vertically perfectly like that. It might go a little bit up to the right, you know, something like that. But you want it to be the same every time. If it's going like that, like that's telling you something. You're changing the way you're gripping the gun, okay? And that doesn't work. You want to be really paying attention to what you're seeing. Okay. Again, another thing to watch out for is if you see the gun come out of recoil and the sight's sitting there shaking, that's indicative of a lot of tension in your firing hand. Like you're just like, because you know you're making the gun shake. Just the key thing to understand here is like you're making the gun do what it's doing for the most part. So pay attention to that and try to get your hands to behave consistently. So then the gun will behave consistently and you'll get a good outcome. Diagnosis for this is not a lot different than the previous exercise. If right-handed dude typically is going to over-tense their firing hand, push shots to the left or push them low, you might also get trigger freeze, where you kind of double clutch the trigger. You can't release your hand off the trigger, right? Release your finger off the trigger. The fix for that is relax your firing hand, okay? If you have shots tracking up and away in recoil, the more support hand's going to do the trick, or make sure you're focused on the spot that we gave you on the target. Eventually that spot's going to go away, by the way, so make sure that you focused up on it. The other thing I can say about this is when you're shooting this drill, you shoot for where you want to be, not for where you are. And what I mean is, if you look at like let's say you're in B class, and you look at some M class dude at your club, look at how fast in a match, like he comes, he gets on a target, and he'll go pop pop like that, or whatever you see him doing. You you wanna mirror that. You wanna shoot at a pace where you can be competitive with that. You know, shoot at that pace, even if there's mistakes. Like, understand what's happening and train for where you want to be. This isn't where you train for where you're at right now. Does that make sense to everybody? So again, don't feel bad if you're not getting the outcome you want. You can always control the outcome with pacing. Like, that's not a big deal. This is to learn and understand what's happening. To give you an idea, though, let's back up a little bit. What do you reckon is a feasible pace from back here? As fast as I can pull the trigger or something else?
Okay, send it, trigger.
Yeah, send it. Fuck it. I like your attitude, dude. All right. Okay. Let's head down here. By the way, that's a very bent attitude. Send it and see what happens. You can see, push a little bit left. I need a little bit less firing hand tension if I want that to work for me. This one got up and away from me a little bit. I got to fix my bitch grip over here, clamp down that support hand, and look at the center. Don't be afraid to experiment like that. This is how you're going to learn. This is how you're going to get better. Okay? At the core of this is a marksmanship exercise. Okay? This is how you learn to make the bullets go where you want. It's just you're shooting at a practical, like, real world speed that you're going to do in matches. And you're going to fix your issues at speed rather than, you know, slow down and get your hits.
Practical shooting training. It's got drills, live fire drills, some guidance for dry fire, some dry fire drills. Lots of different places you can start. It works for people of all different levels. If you want to train seriously with a handgun, especially for competition, this is the one to get.